If you're thinking about moving to Arizona, you've probably asked yourself, what if it's not exactly like I thought it would be once I got there? That's a very fair question because no matter how much research you do, actually living here feels very different. So today, I want to go and walk you through the most things that people wish they knew before moving to Arizona. These are insights I've seen firsthand as someone who moved here from Utah years ago. My first day in Arizona, officially going to school, was my birthday in 5th grade, so I've been here for a while. My goal is to help you set realistic expectations so when you get here, you feel prepared, not surprised. The number one thing people ask about when moving to Arizona is, of course, the weather. Let's get this out of the way. Summers are hot. Really hot. We're talking triple digits for months, and every so often, you'll even get days that creep up to 120 degrees. You can adjust to this somewhat over time, but the truth is, nobody gets used to 120. You're still gonna sweat through your shirt if you aren't careful. My advice, plan your wardrobe around breathable fabrics, stock up on deodorant, and always keep a sunshade for your car windshield. Park under trees whenever you can. Otherwise, leather seats and steering wheels can feel like branding irons. Imagine turning when your steering wheel's 100 degrees. Now, the good news. The good news is winters are absolutely incredible. By far my favorite months with the windows down all the time. It is 70 degrees while the rest of the country is shoveling snow. And that's why many snowbirds come here every single year. They know that the valley's weather is the best in the country. Now, what about the air quality? How is it like in Arizona? One thing people don't always expect is the air quality. Dust, pollution, and sometimes even wildfire smoke, especially if you're up north, can leave the valley in somewhat of a haze. As someone with asthma, I can tell you it's not ideal, but over time you do adapt. Whether that's you adapting or just forgetting what good air quality is like, you no longer think about it. On the plus side of the climate being extremely hot, it is dry at least, so it's not going to be that sticky, hot, humidity feeling that you have somewhere like Florida or Houston. And let's not forget about monsoon season. From July through September, we will see sudden dust storms, literally sudden, out of nowhere, and these are called haboobs. And the thunderstorms that can roll out of these haboobs, they come out of nowhere. They usually don't last long, which is the good thing, but they do bring some much needed rain and can cool things down for a little while. Now, for natural disasters, that might be the closest thing that we have to them, though they only last about 30 seconds. One of the trade-offs that comes with Arizona is we do have the heat, but we don't have many of the other things that you face, like tornadoes. You're not going to see any hurricanes, obviously. We don't really have an issue with things like earthquakes, maybe something in a small enough scale that you wouldn't notice. But for the most part, Arizona doesn't have any natural disasters. The biggest natural concern is wildfires, especially in northern Arizona. Though they can happen closer in the valley, for the most part, the wildfires are sectioned off to places like Flagstaff. But when it happens, it can make the air quality a lot worse than it is traditionally, and this is likely going to be the biggest thing that you will run into here. So insurance costs can differ depending on where you live, but for the most part, we don't have natural disasters. Our disaster is heat. And there are heat warnings constantly, like I said. You want to make sure that you are constantly hydrated, and it might sound obvious, but typically you want to bring a water bottle with you, especially in these 120 degree days. If you plan to be anything outside, you want to make sure you're doing it in the morning or the evening. It's just a part of adapting to a desert lifestyle. Now, for the roads, driving, and commutes, one thing that surprises people when they move here is that Arizona does not have any toll roads. Unlike states where tolls can add hundreds of dollars to your monthly budget, you will not have to worry about that here. Places like Texas, that can be a nightmare. That said, traffic can still be a bit of a challenge depending on where you live and work. Phoenix is built on a grid system, and we've got several major freeway loops. We've got the 101, the 202, the 303, and then we have things like the 60 and the 10. But if you're headed into heavy job hubs like Tempe or Scottsdale, or maybe even downtown Phoenix, during the rush hour, you should and will expect delays. For example, mornings, if you are heading east into Tempe or Scottsdale from places like Mesa or Gilbert, you can be in a backup log of traffic quickly. The same thing happens at night when you're coming back and you're going to places like Gilbert, Chandler, or Mesa. It's not the LA levels of gridlock or New Jersey, but time of your commute can make a huge difference on how much the travel time is. The upside of that is outside of the rush hour, you can usually get across the valley quickly. I would say for most places, you can get almost anywhere in the valley from 10 to 30 minutes. Whether you're going from Phoenix to Scottsdale to Tempe, or even a grocery store near your house, 10 to 30 minutes is gonna get you anywhere you need to go. Now for politics and culture. Arizona has become one of the most politically mixed states in the country. Historically, it has leaned far red, but in the recent years, it has shifted to be a more purple stance. In fact, Arizona voted blue in the 2020 presidential election and has a blue governor currently. They also have elected both Democratic and Republican senators in the last few cycles. At the same time, many suburban and rural areas remain strongly conservative. What this means for you is that Arizona isn't defined by one extreme or the other. If you want to find a community that is more in the middle leaning, you will find Arizona to be built for you. Generally speaking, the Phoenix metro feels pretty balanced. It has a diverse background, thought, and lifestyle. It certainly makes for an interesting mix. You'll meet lifelong Arizonans, transplants from California and the Midwest, as well as snowbirds and students. And that gives the valley its unique flavor. And most people fit somewhere in the middle, no matter their background. Now for wildlife and nature, when people picture Arizona, they usually think cactus and deserts, but the wildlife here is a lot more diverse than you might expect. In and around the Phoenix metro, you'll likely encounter the following bugs or animals or however you want to describe it. When people are moving to Arizona, they typically get scared of the scorpions. I just want to let you know, as someone that has dealt with that house that had so many of them, they're really not that big of a deal, and as long as you're taking care of it, you're going to be okay. So beyond the creepy crawlies and javelinas, there is also plenty of natural beauty. If you drive 90 minutes north and you head into the pine forest, head east and you can explore lakes and rivers. Arizona's landscape is more varied than the desert stereotype suggests. How many places can you drive 2 hours and see snow and 2 hours to see the Mexico border on the beach? Now for HOAs. Another thing to know is HOAs are very common in Arizona. If you're looking in areas like Gilbert, Chandler, East Mesa, chances are almost every single neighborhood is going to have an HOA. These associations regulate things like exterior paint colors, landscaping, parking, whether you can even park on the street overnight, and whether you can store your RV in your driveway or even in your RV gate, because if it pops over the side, you might get flagged. On the flip side, there are still parts of the valley where you can find non-HOA homes. These are typically going to be older, or they're going to be a standard rectangle shape, and you're not going to get things like a 3-car garage, and you're not even going to get the acreage that you expect. So make sure that you understand that you're working with the right person when it comes to finding a home, whether that's an HOA or non-HOA home, and my business partner and I, Templeton, would love to help. Make sure to reach out using the link in the description below, or make sure to grab the relocation guide that's also going to be linked at the very top. So back to community. In general, if you want newer builds, resort-style communities, or master plan neighborhoods with pools and amenities and parks, you'll almost always find an HOA attached. If you want more independence, you'll need to go to search specifically for older non-HOA areas. These are rare, but they do exist. The only issue is price points are creeping, so you don't want to miss out on those now. Things to do. One of the best parts of living in Arizona is that you'll never run out of things to do. Outdoor lovers especially are in heaven here. You can hike Camelback Mountain at all seasons as long as you're prepared. Seriously, be prepared. South Mountain, you have incredible views. In the summer, float the Salt River, or you can head up north for cooler temperatures and forest hikes. I personally go to the Flagstaff 4th of July Parade every single year. Lakes like Pleasant, Saguaro, Roosevelt are perfect for boating, fishing, or even just hanging out on the water. Sports fans, you're not really going to feel that left out either. Phoenix is one of the few cities that at one point had 4 major pro sports. You have the Cardinals with the NFL, Suns with the NBA, Diamondbacks with the MLB, and we had Coyotes with the NHL, but we won't talk about that now. On top of that, we host the Phoenix Open. We have spring training games for multiple MLB teams, and we have major college games. So here's something that is exploding right now. Pickleball. Indoor and outdoor facilities are opening consistently, and it has become one of the fastest growing activities across the valley. The outdoor and indoor scene here is absolutely booming. If you're looking something for more nightlife entertainment, there's also plenty of things to do. You have Old Town Scottsdale that people travel across the globe for. You have bars, clubs, and high energy vibes. You have downtown Gilbert, which is slowly growing to be its own spot of itself. Right now, it's more of a foodie destination with tons of local restaurants and breweries. Tempe has always been good. It's got something going on, whether that's good or bad, from concerts to festivals to sporting events to just pure ASU chaos. The bottom line is Arizona isn't just the desert. Whether you're outdoorsy, into sports, into cars, or you just want to try some new restaurants, there's always something to do. There's even more family-friendly events that happen in places like Gilbert. You can check my videos on things like the Gilbert Farmers Market for more information there. Demographics and lifestyle. A lot of people assume Arizona is just retirees and golf courses, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Well, it's true that we do have a strong retiree population, especially in places like Sun City, which for the most part, if you're in the valley, you'll never even visit, or in the winter where you have the snowbirds arriving. The Phoenix Metro is incredibly diverse in age and lifestyle. Arizona is home to major universities like Arizona State University, and you have the University of Arizona down in the Dirty T, Tucson. That means there's a constant flow of younger residents, students, and young professionals. Combine that with a growing number of tech companies and businesses moving into the valley. You've got a healthy population of working age adults that are coming to the area. We've got Meta, we've got Facebook, we've got Virgin Galactic, we have a ton of companies coming. So the type of city that you live in can really shape your lifestyle. Tempe, for example, like I mentioned, some of those tech companies, has a younger vibe thanks to ASU with nightlife, festivals, and college culture everywhere. Gilbert, on the other hand, is known for being way more family friendly. With master plan communities, you've got a lot more parks, a lot more schools, and then you have Scottsdale that has kind of a mix of both for depending on what you're looking for. It also has better shopping, it has better golf, and it has better, I would say, nightlife. All that just comes at a premium. So each city has its own personality that can fit you regardless of what you're looking for, depending on the stage of life that you're in. So while Arizona certainly is attractive to retirees, it's also a great place for young professionals, families, and for the most part, anybody in between. Hidden expenses. Something people don't always plan for are the hidden costs of living in Arizona. The first one is going to be the air conditioning bill. In the peak of summer, it's not unusual for families to spend up to $300 to $500 per month to keep their homes cool. Now, if you're moving from a place like I did in Utah, that could be a shock to you, where you don't run your AC all that often. There are the smaller but regular costs here as well, like lawn service, pest control, and pool cleaning if your home even has one. For the most part, air conditioning is going to be the biggest shock. And everything combined can add up to an extra $100 to $200 to $300 to $400 depending on how much you're willing to outsource. Now, if you want to talk about insurance, it's generally more affordable because there are less natural disasters like I mentioned, but if you buy up north like Pinetop, Show Low, Flagstaff, these wildfire risks can actually adjust your insurance rate or make it so you aren't insurable at all. So make sure that you understand where you're going before you move, if that's going to be an issue for you. The bottom line is that while Arizona doesn't have huge hidden costs like outrageous tolls or property taxes, there are lifestyle expenses, especially in those summer months, that you just want to make sure that you budget for. The lower cost of living should help offset some of those costs. So those are the things that the people wish that they knew before moving to Arizona. From the blazing summers to the perfect winters, the wildfires and the HOAs, there's a lot of mix of things that you might want to know before you move here. I'd love to know in the comments below, which of these stood out to you most? And if you're looking to move here, I actually have a relocation guide that is going to be linked in the description below. If you're looking to have a full guide on everything Arizona before you officially make it out, make sure to click on that. And if you have any questions on real estate, my team and I would love to help. Thanks, y'all. Info in the description below. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.